in my 40s and my dad's been gone for almost 6 years. When I see people, they're like, you're just like your dad. You have your dad's spirit, you have your dad's hustle. So I literally owe all of my success, all of everything to my parents. And that's why I give so much love to them now. Up until the day that my dad passed away. I mean, he was so proud of me. So for me, going so hard, seeing all that in 6 years, I was doing good. So he got to see me 6 years ago. My dad always took care of his parents, so I got to take my parents on trips and just do some of the most amazing things. And again, that's all just for my parents just saying, you know what, you can do whatever you want to do.
Welcome to the Greatness Ignited podcast, where we have conversations about the greatness of others so that you can recognize the greatness in you. My name is Barry Overton, and I have been studying greatness for the last 7 years, and it is taking my career to new heights. And now me and a few of the successful people that I have had the honor of interviewing are coming together to ignite your greatness and light the fire within. All right, welcome everyone to another episode of Greatness Ignited. This is where we have conversations to discuss the greatness of others for the purpose of you identifying and recognizing the greatness in yourself. And I got to tell you, today it is really a huge pleasure just to have virtual presence of greatness with me today. A young lady that I've been able to watch her business grow over the last few years and just explode. And she graduated summa cum laude from Clark University with a degree in criminal justice and pre-law. She had some aspirations in regards to that field, but you'll see as you hear her story that she's transformed and continues to transform into doing some amazing things. And I can tell you, she's been in the Denver real estate world almost 20 years now. And during that time, she's got several awards and accolades, including the Wellington and Wilma Webb Legacy Award, also along with being awarded by the Denver Metro Realtor Association. She's been on many different publications, as like the Denver Real Producers, also a national podcast of the Real Estate Titans, where some of the top agents in the country have been interviewed on there. And she's been one of those that have been interviewed. And again, she's really built a business that is, taking the Denver real estate industry by storm. Just last year, over 14 million in sales. And during the pandemic, 2019, 14 million in sales. In 2020, which is now last year, thank goodness, she actually did almost 20 million in sales during a pandemic. So that really tells you how strong of a business that she's growing, even through some of these challenging times. She's also been a business owner, the co-owner of Uncle Buck's Barbecue. And this was before real estate. She also was the owner and operator of Home Tonight Bail Bonds. So you can see just the entrepreneurial spirit that's in her that has kept her driving to really grow and build businesses. And one of the things that I love about that is most business-minded people, what I love is they have a give back component to them where they've given back to the less fortunate. And she's actually been able to, Denmon Realty, her company, has been able to adopt the Vickers Boys and Girls Club. And she's given back to families during the holidays. She fed over 60 families with home cooked meals during this past holidays. And she's part of a entrepreneurial group of African-American women that are giving back from a philanthropic standpoint. And we're going to be able to talk more about that as we're having this conversation. So without any further ado, it is my pleasure to welcome April Denmon to the show. Welcome, ma'am. How are you?
Hi, Barry. I'm good. Thank you so much. And I just want to say, it's an honor to be on your show. So just having me here, it really means a lot. I've been following you and you are killing it. Your marketing is amazing, your clients, how you're giving back to the heroes. So just thank you for everything that you're doing and thank you for having me on today.
Thank you so much for that, for saying that. And and I can tell you that being able to watch you, honestly, when I've been in real estate about the same time, it'll be 20 years for me in July this year, but I was pretty much part-time because of all of my other endeavors and working as a police officer. But when I said, it's time to really turn this thing on and go full force with real estate, I said, I got to see what some of the best are doing to build their business. And it was really watching you. And one of the biggest lessons that I've learned is, again, the connection that you have with your clients. They're not just clients, they become family for you. I can see that over your social media. And that's one thing I love. The beauty about social media is you can see, what people are doing and their growth that they're having. And I often think, when I see your stories, when I see your posts on Facebook, that again, the hustle is being televised, April. I'm able to see exactly how hard you're going at it. And really, that's what creates success in this particular industry. And we're going to be able to talk more about that. But I want to take it back before we get started in there of, I talked about criminal justice major, pre-law, but it really, you took a transformation over time. But let's go back to childhood. I know we all have dreams when we grow up. And one of your dreams in childhood, you shared with me about law. If you want to share a little bit more about that.
Yes, thank you. So growing up, from the time I was probably 7, I knew that I wanted to be an attorney. I wanted to be a judge by the age of 40. So that was kind of like my goal, what I had set. Growing up, everyone was like, oh, you would be such a great attorney. So I remember like in middle school, like actually having like courthouses set up downstairs in my parents' basement and being with my friends, like playing on on the defense side. And so that had always been kind of a passion of mine. And so that's what I went to school for, was to get my degree in criminal justice. And another dream of mine too was to work for the FBI. And so in criminal justice, I had an internship with the Aurora Police Department. And so when I went on it was kind of like a ride along with the police officer. So I saw my first dead body and I was like, nope, this is not the field for me. I was like, I don't want to be in FBI. I don't want to be in law enforcement. But at that time, I still did want to be an attorney. So I was working at the courthouse after graduation for Arapahoe District Courts. And so at that time, they were having like furloughs, and I had just graduated from college. So I was living with my parents. I took a position that was a court clerk 3 position just so that I could get all the experience. And so at that time, I was doing court clerk 3 work, but only getting paid as a court clerk 1. So I just soaked up so much stuff, as far as how law goes and real estate. I mean, not real estate, sorry, not at that time. Well, I was dealing with deeds and stuff at the courthouse. And so I got into bail bonding, and I don't know if you want to ask questions or if you want to just dig kind of into that bail bonding, but I did take a shift from
Yeah, and one of the things that really stands out to me is, again, as a child, you had these dreams in regards to law and being an attorney. And I know we had talked about being a judge by the age of 40. And number one, as a child, to have those types of goals in place is pretty amazing in itself. But what's really amazing is that you followed through with it. Going into college, you were still on track to do the plan and the goal and the dreams that you had set out as a child. And so I think that, many of us, we all dream as kids. And in many cases, whether it's, the people around us or whether we start doubting ourselves, whatever the case may be, we get away, we lose our dream, and we end up living a life that we're not necessarily happy with because it's not the dream life that we wanted. So you are just really a great example of having the dream and then following the dream. Now, again, as you mentioned, you went into bail bonds and you went into some other ventures. So the dream obviously changed, but it's okay for it to do that, but as long as it's still part of the dream. But yeah, and it's so funny for me that I probably know personally 3-4 people that have owned bail bonds companies, and they're all African American women. Because I can tell you, as a police officer, when I dealt with bail bonds, it was, usually a white male, probably in his 50s, not the most attractive person. I had a different idea of what that looked like. And then to see that, since I've left law enforcement is where I've actually met more African-American women that have owned bail bonds companies. But yeah, if you want to share a little bit of how you made that transition into that.
Yes. Okay. So how I made the transition is, like I said, I was doing a court clerk 3 at this time. And so that's when you are working downstairs, you come in, you pull a number. So I was dealing with everything from child cases, criminal cases, divorces. So I had a lot of friends at that time that were in bail bonding. And so I used to help all the bail bondsmen that would come in when I was working at the courthouse. And so I had one friend, Shelly Sims. He was like, you should be a bail bondsman. Like, you would be a great bondsman. And I'm like, no, I'm going to law school. I'm going to be a judge. Like, I'm not going to be a bail bondsman. Like, that's not what I want to do. So long story short, I took the LSAT for law school. I failed. I was devastated. So during that time, I'm like, maybe I will look into this whole bail bonding thing and just see what that's all about. So I looked into it, went to school, got my license, started working for my friend's company. And the first week that I was doing bail bonds, I got $100,000 bond. So I made $10,000 cash in one day. So I was like, what, $10,000 in one day? I was like, forget law school, forget being a judge, like, I'm out of here. And so I was a full-time bail bondsman, out all hours of the night, like, had the big home tonight bail bonds on my car. So I was just known as the bail bondsman. And so at that time, we had a barbecue restaurant, my father and I. So we would be like, okay, you can get barbecue and bail bonds. And so with bail bonds, I was very successful at it because I worked at the courthouse for so long. So I knew all the attorneys, and I just would give really good service, how I am still doing today. But I was really successful at it, and I had a brand new house bill. I bought a Mercedes, paid cash for it. So, I definitely got to experience some really good times during bail bonds. And when I bought my house, that's kind of what led me into real estate. Because at that time, I didn't know anything about real estate. I didn't know what a lender was. Like, I had no clue on what all of that was. So at the time, I probably didn't have the best experience. And I wish I would have known now what I know. I wish I would have known what I know now, what I know then. Is that how you say it? But yeah, so definitely lots of experiences, lots of losses, lessons in that. And so I just retired last year from bail bonding. And so I've done that for many, many years, met some great people. A lot of my bail bonding clients turned into my real estate clients. So that's one thing that I do have to say I love about being an entrepreneur.
Yeah, and so there's a theme here just in regards to what you've been able to do, really, you all the way back to childhood, into college, and then the career paths that you've taken. And it really just speaks to the mindset. And I want you to share a little bit more just in regards to the mindset. And obviously a lot of that, I know I see your mom on your Facebook page all the time. Even though your father has passed, I see, you sharing posts about him. And it's very clear to me, number one, your mom is amazing and your father was a very great man. I'm sure that they had a very significant impact on you in regards to your growth and your personal growth and development that you've experienced. But I just want to kind of get into the mind of what drives you and what where's your purpose come from, and what do you feel your purpose is?
Yes. Thank you. So that's a good question. My purpose and kind of why I do things is for my family. I don't share with too many people. I think we kind of had a small conversation about it, but in my family, like growing up, I was the first person to graduate from high school, not college, from high school. So, of course, later on, family members did go back and get GEDs. They went to college, graduated from college, but I was the first to actually graduate from high school. So growing up, that was huge to me. And my father just always instilled education and, having your own business, being an entrepreneur, like being a woman, being a lady, like these are just all things that he taught me at a very, very young age. And so my father, he was always an entrepreneur. So I would just see him. I would be with him all the time. I don't know if you remember Fast Eddie's skating rink in the Dahlia Shopping Center. So my dad was Ed. That's Eddie's. That was his skating rink. So when I was 3, I used to be at my dad's skating rink skating. He had a club in Park Hill, Club Shalimar. He's done so many things. The restaurant, he's got into comedy. I don't know if you're familiar with the Buffalo Soldiers, but he's the founder and president of the Buffalo Soldiers Motorcycle Club. So he founded that. So, I do have older brothers and sisters, and, they took their own paths in life. But my dad was always like, you have to go to school, you have to get your education, like you could be whatever you want to be. And so I think with my dad instilling that, and my mom, thank God she's still here with us today, but she had her own cleaning business for 30 years. So I would see her get up and work so hard for these clients and just be such an amazing person and just giving her all. So I have my mom who worked for 30 years at her business, same thing. Then I have my dad who had multiple businesses. So he would get into something. If it didn't work, the next week he has a new business. He had trucking companies. He has done so much. And so that just inspired me. And I just was like, usually it's the sons that are like their dads. And I'm like, you know what? I'm daddy's girl. And so now in my 40s, and my dad's been gone for almost 6 years, when I see people, they're like, you're just like your dad. You have your dad's spirit, you have your dad's hustle. So I literally owe all of my success, all of everything to my parents. And that's why I give so much love to them now. Up until the day that my dad passed away. He was so proud of me. So for me, going so hard, seeing all that in 6 years, I was doing good. So he got to see me 6 years ago. My dad always took care of his parents. So I got to take my parents on trips and just do some of the most amazing things. And again, that's all just for my parents just saying, you know what, you can do whatever you want to do. So I'm sorry if that got a little long-winded, but I definitely do it for my family. And then just other people seeing, hey, here's a young Black female that's doing it. She's had several businesses. She's done this. You can do it too. So I really want to be a role model to people from where I'm from. Like I grew up in Green Valley Ranch, Montbello, so I just have seen so much, and I just want to share with everybody kind of where I come from and what I'm about, where I've been, where I'm going, and just know that I've had an amazing life. I've been very blessed. And last thing, Barry, I promise, one thing that my parents did teach me is they were like, you know what, you have to always bless people. So if you bless people, you're always going to get those blessings back. And that's just how I've lived. And I've literally been blessed all my life. So I'm very thankful for that. I could literally start praising in here right now.
Yeah, and often our first mentors are typically the people that are closest to us, and it's usually going to be our parents. And it's very evident that, again, your mom and your dad, have played a very integral part in regards to your growth and your personal development. I know you shared a story with me in regards to when you started in real estate and you were put in a position where you're working downtown. And there was some struggle and there were some challenges, as we see Denmon Realty on the wall right there. And the fact that you're in the cash register building, one of the most prestigious buildings in the city, and you're on one of those top floors in there, it wasn't always that way. There was some struggle along the way. And I remember you telling me how your dad played a big part in you staying in the game of real estate. If you want to share a little bit about that.
Yes. So I'll try to make this story quick. I do get a little bit long-winded sometimes. So like I told you with bail bonding, I bought a house. I had a brand new house built in Green Valley Ranch. 3,000 square feet, 4 bedrooms. It was just myself in this huge house. So at the time, I rented my house out and I moved downtown to 1600 Glenarm Place. I was living in this luxurious condo overlooking the city. And so at that time, I didn't know anything about the downtown real estate market. And so every morning I would wake up and I would say, you know what, I'm going to take over downtown Denver. Like, I'm going to be the best downtown realtor out here. So I started doing my research. I started working for a real estate company downtown. So at that time, you got to think, we'll just say 20 years ago. Well, actually, when I started, well, yeah, we'll say about 15, 20 years ago, like downtown was totally different, nothing like it is now. So there were a group of realtors that had been doing real estate at that time for 20 plus years. And so when I came on the scene, they're like, who are you? You're not welcome here. Like, we're not going to show you our listings. Like, we're not going to show you any of our rental properties. That property's already rented. But then another person would come and they'd say, oh, yeah, you know, we'll show it to you. So at the time, rentals were really popular, like 08, 09. And so there were just realtors that pretty much kind of told me I was not welcome and to go back to Green Valley Ranch where I came from. And so I'll never forget, I was driving down 15th Street and I was just crying, like just bawling, just uncontrollably crying. And I'm like, Dad, they don't want me here. Like, they told me I'm not welcome. And he's like, you know what? You are welcome there. And he's like, you go back. He was like, you wipe those tears. He was like, you're meant to be down there. And he was like, you know, if you're not welcome at their table, you build your own table and people will come to you. And he was just like, yeah, you know, I don't want to hear you crying. He was like, I know you're upset, but you're not going to let them win. And at that time, like I said, I'm literally getting chills right now because I can still feel him and hear him saying that. And so if I would have listened to these older, you know, white women, white men that have been in real estate for over 20 years telling me I'm not welcome, I should go home, I should go back to where I came from because downtown was their market. Those same agents right now are, you know, praising me and telling me how awesome I am and how good I'm doing. When I did start Denmon Realty in 09, I took a lot of business. I had a lot of clients. They were wanting to see my rentals. So it was just, it was a great experience that I'll never forget. And I think that if I would have given up or just listened to them, like, I wouldn't be where I'm at right now. So I had to fight. And we're talking downtown. These were big numbers at that time. And here I am, a young Black female coming in and pretty much taking over, like I said, that I was going to do. And so I started working for a real estate company. We were managing over 250 lofts in condos just in downtown Denver. So I was living down here. I had a little red Vespa. At that time, if real estate was not somewhere where we could get to on our Vespas, we just didn't do it. So I pretty much was ruling the whole downtown area at that time. And I wasn't specifically with Denmon Realty at that time. This is kind of before I transitioned over. But once I left, I took a lot of that business with me and still have really great relationship with some of those people now.
The mindset that you had in regards to saying, you know, walking out of your condo at, you know, at 16th and Glenarm and saying, I'm going to take over the whole downtown market. And then you fast forward and, you know, really, you know, 8, 9, 10, and then where we're at right now, years later, and seeing that, again, you are like Miss Beauvalon, because anything that gets sold in Beauvalon, which is one of the elite condo communities in the downtown Denver area, the downtown community. So once again, it's having a vision and then being able to put the plan in place to follow the vision and make it come to fruition. And that's really what, you know, living in our greatness and finding our gifts and talents is really all about, is being able, whatever that vision may be, is being able to have the vision, believe in it enough. And unfortunately for you, you had your father that was there, because as you mentioned, and I think so many people get in this position of, they have the naysayers, they have the people that are putting doubt into their minds about their own abilities. But then you have someone that, you know, believed in you and you believed in him enough to take his words and run with it. And fortunately, you had that. That's, you know, again, it comes from a place of mentorship, but it's also, just a daughter listening to the words of someone that they're very proud of, their father, and seeing the amazingness that has continued to develop for you in your business. So it's really exciting to hear that. I want to kind of touch on now, because one thing that has always stood out for me in regards to you is the philanthropic endeavors, and I think that is so very important. There's an author, Alice Hawker, who she mentioned in regards to what greatness is when someone asked her, and she said, greatness is not what we have, but it's what we give. Mm-hmm. And that's a very powerful statement for me, because I truly believe in that. I think a lot of times we attribute greatness to the superstar athletes or the world famous entertainers, your Michael mm-hmm. Jacksons and Prince of the world. We put them on this pedestal of greatness. While that is greatness, mm-hmm. that's their greatness. But you can have someone that runs a successful business, that they're living in their greatness. You can have a mother that raises 3 children that go off mm-hmm. to college. Well, that mother is living in her greatness by raising those mm-hmm. children. But like I said, I think really Kobe Bryant has a quote that he stated that greatness is your ability to inspire others and to be able to pass that along. And I think that that's one of the things that really stands out for me, is your ability to inspire others, but also this humanitarian aspect that gives back to so many. If you want to talk about share about Spin, and let's talk about the families that you've been able to help over the years as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you for mentioning Spin. So Spin is an organization that I'm involved in, sisterhood and philanthropy impacting needs. And we are a giving circle. We're the first African-American giving circle here in Colorado. And we are just an amazing group of Black women. Spin was founded, I want to say about 6 years ago, and we have helped so many families over that time. During the pandemic, we partnered with Chic. That's another organization that does a lot here in the community. I'm on the board for them. Collectively, we raised over $70,000. And that was just in the pandemic to give to families. So we were able to give gift cards. We were able to help different people. So that's one thing as of recent that we've done. Every year before I was involved in Spin, my family, we would do like Thanksgiving baskets and meals. And my father, he had a penthouse over at Tower on the Park. And so every day he would feed the homeless, and he would cook at his house. He knew all the homeless guys. It was the park, Benedict Park over here. And so for 4 years, he fed guys every single day. But that was just something that we did. It wasn't like you think about it like, oh, how am I going to do this? It's just something that happened. So growing up seeing that, I kind of got the same thing. So when I started Denmon Realty, I said, you know what, I want to be based on giving back. I want to help children. I want to help families. So when I got in Spin, we had so many different ideas. So I was able to come together and say, hey, here's what my family and I have done. Let's kind of do this. And it was so easy once everything came together. So we were just able to double our numbers, double families that we've been working with. Tanika Ship and Nanika McPhee, they are the founders of it. Tanika used to work at a high school, and so we would do a lot of stuff at the high school. We actually started a boutique there for young women. This was about 6 years ago at Florence Critton High School, and that's a school for young mothers. They still have that boutique going until this day. So you could go and get shoes, purses, and this is nice stuff that we would collect. They just had a prom, 2 years ago. We were able to provide prom dresses for all the ladies, and we go as far as we've paid rent for people, we've gotten mattresses, just so many different things that when someone needs something, they know that they can reach out to us and we'll be there, on top of other programs that we have going. So it's just amazing. And again, like Denver Realty, we do a lot of stuff that's not, it's just out of pocket. Like I don't have a nonprofit organization, things I do kind of how you do, it's just out of pocket, out of the goodness of our heart, just kind of helping people. And so that's something I've always done. And again, I know I kind of touched on this earlier, but I do feel like that's why I am so blessed, because I bless people so much every day, like a lot of things that aren't even shown, but it just makes me feel so good. It's one of the best feelings, just knowing that you're helping people. So when you guys see me happy and excited and living my best life, it's because I'm blessing other people and I'm seeing them be able to do things that, you know, they may not have been able to do before.
Yeah, and I really agree with you in regards to the fulfillment that you get when you can help others and see the joy that comes from them of being able to, whether it's from a state of mentorship or whether it's just giving back from a financial standpoint or whatever the case may be. There's no better feeling, and you can't put a price tag on the fulfillment and the feeling inside of being able to help others. So, and like I said, I recognize that in you as I was following you on Facebook, and it's something that I've been able to implement in my own personal life as well as business. Also, I wanted to we're going to close it out, but I want to really just talk about what's next. What's the future hold for April Denmon or Denmon Realty, or both, from a philanthropic standpoint? The one thing that this whole podcast has really shared is vision, and not only vision, but vision and going after it. You don't just dream about something and let it sit there. You actually put tools in place to go after, the next things in life that you want. So for you, is there anything that you're planning, whether it's 2021 or 5 years from now, in regards to the direction that you're going?
Yes, thank you. Good question. So yeah, you do always have to have your goals set. One thing that I'm really excited to get back into, so I told you earlier, we adopted the Boys and Girls Club in Park Hill. And so we did monthly programs with them. One of our biggest programs, where we had almost 300 people come out, we had an HBCU date. So I was able to get like 32 panelists, different people that went to different HBCUs, talk to the students, and they were just blown away. Some people didn't even know what an HBCU was. So I want to get more into the community and just kind of getting out there with students, and just, kind of get, because we haven't been able to do anything for almost a year now with the pandemic. So once things get open, I want to do that. I do have some personal goals that I'm working on. I know you can't share everything, but just kind of be on the lookout for something, I would say probably in the spring, that I'll be making a big announcement on. My husband and I, we are having our dream home built right now. We're supposed to be closing in February. So I'm looking forward to, this new community that we're moving to, and just a new house. And so again, Denver Realty just plans to keep helping clients, hoping my numbers go up, hoping to get my classes going back so we can educate the community, and just living, just being healthy, just being happy, and just being here to help. Like, I think after the pandemic, like just everything that we've all went through in this last year, I don't think we can really predict what's going to happen or what we're going to do. So I think just taking it day by day, living, like loving the people that your family, just really giving love and just being a positive person and just having that peace. That's kind of what I'm doing, and just continuing to be happy in what I have going on.
All right. And thank you for sharing that. And so we have your information, your email address and cell phone number in there. If you are looking at this and you're interested in purchasing a home, selling a home, learning more about the home buying or home process, definitely reach out to April, and she will be able to assist you with that. She mentioned the home buying courses. She's educated so many people on the process of being able to purchase a home. And do you have a website that you want to share as well?
Yeah, so the website is denmonrealty.com. So that's www.denmonrealty.com. And then you'll see all of our listings on there. If you guys have any questions, you can always call me, email me. And again, Barry, this is just such an honor to be on your show. And I hope that you and I are doing a closing picture and a cool video that you do with your awesome marketing here sometime soon.
Yeah, absolutely. I look forward to that day. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So this version or episode of Greatness Ignited, I hope you caught these nuggets that were dropped here. One of the biggest things is to dream big, and then go after those dreams. Is to have vision, be a visionary, and have the vision of things that other people can't see, but you can see. And then again, put the plan in place. Get yourself the proper mentors to be able to help you to execute the plan. And then when it becomes time to execute, which is the most scariest part of the vision, is but now you have to act on it. Don't be afraid. Just go.
Right.
Just believe in yourself and go after those things in life. So, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you for being a part of Greatness Ignited today. And we look forward to having you on the next episode. Have a great rest of your day. And remember, the struggle is real, but so is your greatness.
Love it. Thank you, Barry, and congratulations on your book, too. Thank you, Barry, and congratulations on your book, too. Thank you so much.
Ignite your greatness, take a leap of faith and you'll make it. Wanna live life to the fullest, you gotta be hardworking and patient. You got the fire within you, you got a dream that you should be chasing. Pushing through to the finish line and you got no time to be wasting, yeah. Ignite your greatness, take a leap of faith and you'll make it.